Now this big pile of shit over here, I've got to pull the engine and transmission out of this thing. This thing is a little worse for wear, as you probably can tell. It's like way crooked. It's because the suspension collapsed on the left-hand side and the rear. It also looks like something has been digging underneath it, so I'm going to have to do some work to get this thing lifted up so I can actually drop the transmission and the engine out the bottom of it. Thankfully they come out pretty easily. Hopefully the bolts aren't too awfully rusted or stuck. But it sure looks like hell up underneath there. But there's a lot of good parts. So we're going to put some effort into this and see what we get. Behind me is the engine and transmission that I removed from the bus. And as you can see, it's a little worse for wear. The corrosion took the best of the aluminum in the transmission. Oddly, the engine block doesn't seem to be affected, but the transmission just rotted to hell. I mean, pieces are just falling off of it everywhere. It looks like a meteorite or something. Well, I'd say the transmission is shot. We're not going to be using that one. You might have some salvageable parts, but I can guarantee you that the water got inside of it. If it looks like that, it got wet in there. I don't know if it blew out before the flood hit this or what happened. But it's pretty damn ruined, so unfortunately we put a lot of work into this thing just to yank that shit out, and well, that's exactly it. It's shit. So we're just going to dispose of it accordingly. What do you think?
I think it's pretty ugly.
Yeah, it's a pile of shit, isn't it?
That's worse than I could ever imagine.
I've never seen anything quite that bad. As far as aluminum corroding, I've never seen anything like that. That's a first for me. And like I said, I still don't get it. That the block, which is aluminum, is unaffected. I guess the metallurgy, or what do they call the alloy, perhaps was a little bit different than a transmission, but once again, I've never seen that happen. I've seen a little white surface corrosion before, but I've never seen anything completely rot through. Just completely rotted through.
So the bell housing's still attached.
Yeah, the little piece of the bell housing is still attached to the vehicle. I was just trying to pull the engine out alone. Well, originally I was going to pull the engine and transmission out, so it was going to come out just like this, but without all the shit broken. And when I realized the transmission was cracked, I had started to just pull the engine out, loosen out all the bolts, and the bolts are removed, but the thing still dangles. I guess it corroded together. What do they call that? Galled. Where the two metals corrode to the point they stick together. They weld themselves together. And I think that's what we're looking at there. But it's pretty worse for wear. Also, the massive rat's nest that's buried so thick, and I took out a huge chunk of it that was bigger than my hand from here, which is so thick with rat shit and fur balls and just anything they could have packed in there to make a nest, they did.
Nasty.
I don't know if anything on this engine is still salvageable. I mean, there still might be, you know, some of the stuff up in here might still be good. Maybe the fan could be sandblasted. I don't know if the carburetor's any good. Yeah, it might be. Might have a good carburetor on there. Intake manifolds can be sandblasted. I don't know if the motor is seized or not. I don't have an easy way to try to turn it over until, of course, we get the transmission off and try to turn it over from the flywheel side.
Yeah.
Rot monster. This was a rot monster. Unbelievable. Worst I've seen.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to throw it up on the trailer. Well, it took 4 of us to get it up on the trailer, using the 2x6 trick where we slipped it underneath, levered it up, and slung it onto the trailer. So it's going home now. The fun part's going to be what you guys aren't going to see in this video. That's me getting it back off the trailer. Ha 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 ha. That's going to suck. Well, that's the end of this transmission. I'm going to pull any parts out of it that are useful, and we're just going to recycle the rest of it. So that's the end of that.